Hi, my name is Liam, and over the past year, I've sent hundreds of thousands of cold emails and I've booked hundreds of calls across multiple B2B industries. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through the frameworks, processes, and systems I use to do this consistently and how you can copy and paste it into your business as well. As well as this, I'm also going to be walking you through live software demos on how I set everything up so you have no questions in your mind and I walk through everything step by step with my own SOPs in-house. As you can tell, this isn't going to be some get rich quick scheme where you can kind of go through and maybe skip around some bits. No, this is a very in-depth guide. So if this is what you're looking for, I would stick around. But if you're looking for something shallower, I would click off now. You'd be wasting your time. So if you're looking for a scalable acquisition system, I highly suggest you focus. And let's get right into the video. It all begins with market research. Basically, understanding your ICP and their conditions and is crucial to creating a winning cold email campaign. The niche will not adapt to you, you must adapt to the niche. And you write what they want to read, from what they see in your initial email to what they book into your calendar. Pretty much, you need to just think about them the entire fucking time. And it's always about them because there's no other reason that you should be writing to them. You're trying to help them. And I need to just like ingrain this into what you're basically thinking. Do not write what you want to hear at all unless it benefits the sale or it contributes to them. So, if you want to book unlimited appointments, you need to spend time understanding their problems, pains, desires, past experiences, get to know basically specific industry lingo too. You need to know exactly who you're targeting. There has been too many times where actually, I can give an example, right? I have a client now that does focus groups and they basically work inside the internal marketing department. And it has been very interesting to try work around the entire department to see who is the critical person that should be making the decisions. Additionally, it's based off the size of the company as well. Like someone that has, let's say, 1,000 employees or 10,000 employees, the same person is not responding to your email. They have very different issues. So the person that has 1,000 employees, maybe you're targeting the CMO, maybe VP, maybe head. 10,000 employees, maybe you even drop the director and you're like, now I have to go to like a VP. Maybe I have to segment it by area. Or maybe you're targeting someone that has literally 10 employees and you're like, I have to reach the owner or the founder or whatever. Like this is stuff you have to understand when you're targeting your market and your market research. So it sounds simple, but this is literally where like all the money is made. Trust me on this. So it doesn't matter how well you solve the problem your niche faces for cold email. It matters how well you can persuade them that you have the solution to their exact problem. So your market is constantly changing. So what I'm basically saying by this is you need to understand that everybody has an issue, right? It just depends on what stage you're catching them in the issue. So how severe it is. Additionally, how directed your direct response copywriting is. And to give you an example, let's say you are a staffing company and someone is hiring on LinkedIn for a software dev. That's just a very simple example. And this is pretty good intent. You scraped it off Apify, maybe built out an actor, and you basically sit there and you're like, okay, I am going to send this person an email and it's going to say something along the lines of, hey, I saw you were hiring for said person on LinkedIn or software dev, whatever. And you were just sat there and you're like, okay, you could either write one word saying, we're a staffing recruiting company based in the US and we help people fill positions at half the cost. Or you write to them saying, we're a staffing company specifically based in maybe you could say their area, go figure. And that obviously maybe you don't have that. Or you could say, we are a staffing company based in the US. We specifically only help companies hire software developers and we have the best C suite or we can get you the best engineers for the cheapest prices because we've been doing it so long. This is very simple targeting tactics where you just pivot the messaging towards the person. This can be done with AI, but from my experience, if you segment well enough, you can just write personalized copy anyways. So it's just one of those things that people kind of like sit there and they think about. So yeah, there's that. So Abraham Lincoln once famously, geez, that's a hard word, said, "If I had 6 hours to chop down a tree, I would spend the first four sharpening the axe." So a good cold email projects your understanding of the market onto the prospect. Know point watching the rest of the video if you skip these steps. So it's very simple tips here where you can go through and kind of understand what your market is basically looking for. And these are ranked. I kind of just put these down as I went through like the whole process of writing out this doc. So prompting Claude. What are X big problems you might face as said position trying to do X? So let's say what are how many problems? So you could label out the amount of problems you might face as an advertising Facebook ad agency trying to do generate leads, right? And you can say that to them. So you put this into GPT. What are some positive, right? So let's test this out, right? So I can actually do this on the fly. I don't need Claude because watch this, guys. Watch. Oh wow, that is way too big. Holy shoot. Okay. Right. That was a bit big. We're gonna zoom out. But this is Merlin. Everybody meet Merlin. It's a dig in kind of AI that gives me access to a lot of different softwares. So we're just gonna throw this on Turbo, and then we're gonna just stick on for actually we'll use Claude, even though it takes up 50 credits. Things that I'm shoveling out for you guys. So we're basically going in here, and we're gonna go. What are, let's say, 10 problems you might face as a Facebook ads agency owner trying to um, generate leads with cold email. Boom. So Mr. Claude 3 Opus is going to go through, and we're going to hope this man does not take too long, because if he does, I'm going to go and move on to the next one. No, he doesn't. Okay. So here are 10 significant problems you might face when trying to generate leads through Facebook ads with cold email. So maybe a high bounce rate, poor email deliverability, low response rate, Facebook ads not converting, scaling challenges, competition in the market, data segmentation issues, follow-up and management, cost management, bulk email limitations. So when you do something like this, now if I was to, let's say, do cold email outreach to Facebook ad owners, I could reference the fact that they might have a high bounce rate because they're not validating leads. They might have bad deliverability because they don't have a proper info setup. Maybe they have low response rates because their copy isn't good. Maybe your Facebook ads aren't converting. Oh wait, that's not actually relevant. That one's not relevant. Scaling challenges. You're not buying enough domains, or you don't know the proper vendors to use to set up said domains. Competition in the market, so that's natural with cold email and Facebook ads reaching out to, I don't know, roofers or whoever you're looking to sell ads to. Data segmentation. So, look, what I'm trying to get at is this, like, you get a general idea of what it looks like, and then you can start coming back in. So if I come over here, right? So Control C, and I just bring this back up. I'm just gonna open this back up, and it says, what are some positive beliefs you have around that goal/domain? Every challenge is an opportunity to grow. I have an opportunity to unique value to offer my clients that transform their businesses. There are plenty of businesses who need and want my Facebook ads. My success helps other businesses grow. I can help out solutions to any obstacles that come up. So what you are basically doing is you're trying to understand the beliefs of the person you're pretty much reaching out to right now, and you're trying to basically play to their expectations. And if I come back here, if I come throw this in as well, and I'm just gonna drop this in. Oh, nice. Okay. The market is so this is like the positive ones are nice, but the negative ones are a bit more important because when you send an email to somebody, this is generally what they're going to see first, which is negative beliefs. The market's too saturated. Nobody reads cold emails anymore. I'm not good enough compared to other agencies. I'll never get high paying clients. People think I'm spam. So, and then this is what happens if they believe in this. So you need to reference that in the email. You can just call it out and just be like, look, like I know you think the market is too saturated for cold emails or something like that. Or like, when's the last time you read a cold email? Like you can call out certain things like this. And when you call it out, it brings it into the light. So they're not thinking of it in the back of their head. And then let me see. If I come over here, Control C. I drop this in here. And then this is the final one. The final one. Let's hope your Claude does not take too long. Maybe he does, because if he does, I'm just going to move on. Okay, Mr. Claude, I might come back to you. Okay, we'll see. I don't want to sit here and wait because everybody's time is valuable on this, right? So next on the list is recording your sales calls using Fathom AI. So I put Fathom here because they're free, but to be completely frank, you can use like Read AI, Fireflies. Even though I have heard a horror story about Fireflies, but Fireflies. Um, so you just watch them over and over again, note down all the problems, the desires, and objections your prospect pretty much have. And this is the best way to build up to date market data understanding. So you can basically reverse engineer your offer plus cold email scripts. There is nothing better. What is the saying where there's nothing better than something that comes out of the horse's mouth? And I probably should look it up, whatever. But whatever comes out, whatever your prospects say to you is primary, right? These guys are living the what's the word, the shithousery that they're currently in, you know what I mean? Like they're literally just look like just sitting in it, and they're trying to figure it out, and they're literally getting on calls with you, telling you the issues they're currently having, and you just go into it and you're like, okay, this is what we're going to do to solve this problem, and this and this. So that's what I recommend. Fathom AI is really good. Additionally, if you use like Claude, or if you use any of the other kind of AIs, I think DeepSeek probably has one as well, where you can pretty much upload a big document of lots of different sales calls and just drop them in. Then you can do that as well and just ask it to rank it. Same, it's like it's the same thing. And then this is really interesting, right? So if you go into niche groups where there's Facebook groups, Reddit, etc., you go in and then you basically do a problem audit. It's kind of a made up name where it's like a problem audit, but you go in and you pretty much type into the search bar, I need help with, or any advice on, or um, can someone help me with this? And what this does is it will bring up a big list of people asking specific questions on basically what they need. And you can just control A, copy and paste it into AI and just tell it to format it properly. Like that's what I did for some of my YouTube videos, where I would go in. I went into instantly AI. Don't kick me out, please. And all I did was I just went in. I went into instantly AI, scraped all of the posts, and I just put it into AI, and it was just like format it for me. And I have a load of ideas and questions that people had for just general issues they were having. So, and then that is part of this doc where some of the questions are actually in here, which makes sense, because you're asking about the questions. Nice. So, next on the list is levels of the market. So, before you begin blasting people with emails, the first thing you need to figure out is if cold email is the correct strategy to get clients for your business, just full stop in general, right? The types of offers in this world, demand capture versus demand gen, if you want people to buy your stuff, they need to be interested in your product. So if people buy off interest, then how do we know what our offer is? So you need to basically find an area, right, where you need to understand that your offer sits in this kind of like timeline, right? And it's like a timeline. Let me see if I'm like in camera here, right? There's like a timeline, and you're like in the somewhere in between, right? And the best way of doing this is knowing where you sit on the demand capture and demand generation spectrum. So are they looking for what I provide? Insurance, websites, automations, systems? I don't think anybody has emailed me about insurance like any time in my entire life. I just I physically don't think I can like think about it in my head. So it's just one of those things. And then websites, I get tons of those emails day in, day out. I don't need a new website, guys. Stop emailing me and stop emailing everybody else. If we want to buy a website, we will find the best person on the market that is in front of us to buy a website. And in automation SaaS systems, there's a way of kind of pivoting this, but not really. Then demand generation. Can I make people want what I'm offering? So lead generation services, UGC, ad creatives, pretty simply, it's just demand generation offers. You go to them, you can make them want what you have, even if they have, let's say, another vendor. And with this other vendor, you can push them out and say, like, I'm technically better. So it's just one of those simple kind of ways of going about the your offer and your it's a simple way of going about your offer is the best way of putting it. And it's never one or the other, it's always a sliding scale. So I was saying this before. So it's demand capture. You can only sell it to someone when they're looking for it. So again, Nobody actually wants a website. Stop sending those emails. I truthfully do not want those anymore, those emails from those at gmail.coms. Demand generation, you can sell it to someone even if they don't know what it is. So this is someone that you can literally just go to them and be like, yeah, so demand gen. Oh, I think Merlin's ready. Let's see. Oh, here we are. What was the question? What are some past negative experiences? Interesting. You'd have to hone this a little, but I kind of forgot about Merlin. Fair enough. So, cold email works best for demand generation offers. If you do it for demand capture, you're going to have to send a lot of volume, like a lot of volume. Like I've tried it before, and it's tough, man. It is really, really tough, and you just smash volume unless you have intent style data where, like, let's say recruiting. Like I did recruiting as an example, but they are insanely difficult because the only people that need recruiting is when they're actually recruiting for someone and they're expanding or someone's left. So you could maybe go through and be like, I saw this person left from their LinkedIn and they used to work here. Like, do you still need this? Do you need to replace them? Or if they have a post up on LinkedIn, of course, you can just go in and be like, yeah, we can do this. So awareness funnel. So the awareness funnel is boiled into four segments realistically. It's unaware, problem aware, solution aware, and product aware. Similar to the above, you need to figure out which one of these your list will most likely fall into. The goal is to speak to them at the stage they're at, right? You don't want to speak to them if they're at solution aware and you speak to them like they're product aware. That's like saying to someone, um, I'm this, I know you know who I am, buy my stuff. Like they don't know who you are, but they know about, let's say, cold email. So it's you have to write the email at the basically unaware and problem aware are the two segments you should be directing your emails at unless you know physically, unless you know they're at solution aware or product aware. So the goal is to speak to them at the stage they're at. This is one of the main reasons your emails will get ignored. You write what you want to hear. So unaware, they don't realize the problem exists, like at all. They just don't physically do not realize it. Problem aware prospects here don't realize the solution exists to their exact problem. Solution aware, this is for people in your niche that know the solution to their problem but are still figuring out who to buy from. So basically, if you are, let's say you're a consumer and you're looking for a phone, like you know who, like you physically know who like Samsung and Apple are, like you know they exist. Oh, that would be more product aware, sorry. But yeah, okay, okay, right. This is a better example would be, let's say, an agency owner, right? And they know cold email exists, but they don't know who like to buy from inside the cold email space. Like there's a few people like Eric, like Nick. There's a few other ones, right? But to put it bluntly, it's kind of like you don't really know who they are properly and you haven't consumed their content. So if you can reach out to these guys with a well-written email plus social proof, it basically equals money. And in product aware, this is a person that's aware of your product. So like your specific product, but ultimately hasn't bought yet. To catch these people, it takes like volume or intent data. Intent data, I'm thinking of using like Trigify or Appify, scraping people on LinkedIn and then enriching their emails, etc., and then contacting them. And if they've like interacted with you, they're pretty product aware. You know, you know what I mean. So you get this by sending more volume, pretty much. And like to put it bluntly, it's like you just send more volume, and yeah, there's just that. Right, we are going into offer creation. I don't know. Do people prefer when I go to big screen and I present it? Oh, this is so slightly ragtag right now. There we go. Okay. Offer creation 101. Once you know where the majority of the people you're outreaching to fall, you need to craft a compelling offer for them, specifically designed for cold email traffic. Your offer is positioning, it's not your product slash solution. It's the bridge between your prospect's current situation and their desired situation. So you need to just bridge the gap between their current state and desired state. Good market research goes a really long way. Knowing industry lingo and what they actually want solved versus the ones you want solved are very different things. It's like contacting a small to medium business owner saying, Do you want more leads when they actually don't have a leads issue? They have an operations issue and a hiring issue. They don't actually need your services, right? And if you had done market research, proper market research, you can basically say to them, be like, I know you have a hiring issue. You're actually over stacked on clients. Let me help you hire. That's where recruiting comes in. And they're like, okay, maybe I need recruiting. And one of the other things, good market research, one of the interesting ways of doing this is if you send out an email basically saying, hey, I'm not trying to sell you anything, but I just started a new company. This is what I'm working on. Do you have any thoughts? Something very simple like that. Obviously, you need to flesh it out a bit more and like actually make it like a human wrote it. But a quick email like that, just to see if there's actually like you have garnered genuine interest in your product, would absolutely recommend. So now we move on to how to create a no-brainer offer. This is very, very important in this. And if you've read Alex Hormozi's $100 million offers, or there's a few kind of other places you can understand how to create offers, this is kind of for cold email, it's a bit different. You cannot just strap on the tangible benefit of uh, 10 clients in 30 days or you don't pay. Like, we don't do that in cold email. It's not believable. If I got this email, if I got this email, I'm not responding, don't care, just stop, don't do that. So you need to make it believable, right? 20 clients in 10 days. That sounds believable. But yeah. So make it believable. Make sure there's a tangible benefit where they actually get something from it. Make sure there's a time delay. Oh well, don't make sure. Shorten the time delay. So people pay for speed. Generally, it's kind of like saying, I can get you 10 clients in 30 days or 10 clients in 20 days. And generally, this is the place where you have to balance the two. So when you have someone that basically says to you, look, I don't really believe you. So you're trying to make it, or not believe you. I don't think this is possible. You need to kind of lengthen it out. So sometimes in emails, you can be like, I could get you 10 clients in 30 days, but if I said 60 days, they might actually believe 60 days. So it makes more sense to actually say 60 days. So it's just one of those situations. You have a risk reversal on hand. So do not spam or you don't pay. Just don't do that, please. Come up with something unique or simply present it as a performance based or a pay on results offer. Like, people know what a performance based is. Like, my offer is performance based or like a pay on results. So if you close, I get like 10% or something. Like, that's believable. That's Someone wants that. Business owners kill for pay on results. They will absolutely murder. Like, it's just, they will do it in cold hard blood just for a pay on results. Like, some of the absolutely scandalous emails saying, uh, I will only work on a pay on close basis. I'm like, yeah, good luck. So yeah, you need to have a good client as well. A majority of the people asking for it aren't good clients. So ultra specific. Use the market research you get, and you want to actually specifically demand it towards that person. You can use AI, you can segment the list, just make it super specific to that person, okay? The without common pain points that a certain person would have. So let's say they have done cold email, right? And they are they want to do cold email, but there's obviously a few issues with it. Maybe it takes up too much time. Maybe they've worked off like retainer basis before. So you can be like, hey, I can help you do 10 clients in 30 days. Oh man, that's funny. Now, you can do, let's say like the offer is 10 clients or something. And you can say, without you having to manage the inbox, write all the copy, and follow up, etc. And watch deliverability and infrastructure setups. So like, it's the without where it's like, I don't have to do all this stuff. So you want to kind of remove that from their head. And that's kind of similar to the objection handling, where you can go like, you can do all this and you don't also have to do this, and like handle the objection as well. So unique. It needs to be somewhat of a pattern interrupt in your prospect's inbox. So in this similar scenario, right? You need to land in the inbox and be like, wow, this person writes differently to everyone else. And from my experience, it's been as simple as writing a well structured email. Literally, if you write an email that is slightly ugly, is a good way of putting it, kind of blocked up, and maybe the punctuation's a little off, that's unique. Everybody has these perfect one-to-one emails. It's one sentence, full stop. There's no commas inside, semicolons, full stops. It's completely perfect, and it looks like an F. Wait, is that? I don't know which way you guys are watching this on the video. It's like an F or something, right? You need to just return back to the fundamentals, and then it's low effort and sacrifice. So done for you, done with you, and do it yourself. People will pay the most for done for you, and then done with you and do it yourself have lower what's the word, lower pressure on you. So yeah, so I get told by business owners all the time saying my offer can't have a guarantee, or I don't know if we can do that. And then you need to know this, not everyone is qualified for your guarantee, not everybody. I want you to take these words to heart, like completely to heart. Not everybody's qualified, okay? Maybe Timmy on the side of the road with his stupid little, like, sorry, not stupid little, or most, I respect business owners, but like with his 10 clientele in the side of the street, and he wants Facebook ads and he wants to max out his gym, but the population of his town is like 20 people. It's like, now you have half the town already, Timmy. Like, what are you supposed to do? So obviously nothing is as like drastic as that, but you get the point. They're not qualified, so just don't give it to them, right? And you say it to them when you're on the sales call. Just say it to them. So yeah, in 2025, it's smart to split your product/service into low commitment front end. Whoa, I've just dropped a pen. Whoopsies. In 2025, it's smart to split your product/service into a low commitment front end offer, then into a recurring offer. You present the front end offer in your cold emails. No one wants to commit to a 90 plus day retainer deal in 2025. You need to adapt. People have been burned way too many times. Like, I'm a performance based offer, and a lot of the clients I work with, they are either kind of lower retainer and then they scale up, and there's a performance aspect on a close, or if you're running ads for like ecom, or you have a very, very like a prototype build out at the beginning. So that was for a software development offer I have, which went quite well. They booked a few calls, 7 calls in 10 days, and they had a prototype build out at the very beginning. And it was just like saying, look, I can build you a prototype, but literally, like, I can wireframe the whole thing for you. And then obviously afterwards, there's a proof of concept and competency. People enjoy seeing competency. So yeah. So okay, we can do this as well. I have Merlin on the side with me. Merlin is my side piece. Let's see. Let's open this up. Okay, we're just gonna close this. Right, so this is my offer. Cold email lead generation. There we go. We can make it fairly basic. 5 to 25 calls per month on a performance basis. Wow, my typing is on spot. Usually I fuck up and something happens. Let's see. Yeah. So high email bounce rate, poor deliverability, low response rates, list building challenges, follow-up management, email personalization. So I can already see from this one, obviously I've done this, but I can see from this one, industry specific prospect list development, like that's relevant to someone. Personalized templates that generate responses, like that's also a good one. Customer fields, nah. Email authentication and reputation management, it's okay. Scheduling system based on recipient's location, that already is automatically done. Custom targeting strategies, like this one maybe as well, would be interesting. So basically do this with your own offer, and you can go in and then you can figure out what like actual front end offers you can set up. So it helps you. Sorry, yeah. Lastly, when crafting an offer, learn to differentiate, analyze competitors, and make yours sound different. There's nothing worse than a para will get you 30% ROAS in the next 30 days, or you don't pay. You don't want that. Like the strong, like it's like we'll get you 30% ROAS. Like no, just no. When you start to analyze metrics in your campaigns, which I'll go over later in the video, you can then iterate on your offer. If you have poor point, if you okay, Okay. You can then iterate on your offer. Wow, this is so hard to say. But how did I type this out? When you start to analyze metrics in your campaigns, which I'll go over later in the video, you can then iterate on the offer. I should have a comma there. You guys can't see, there should be a comma there. If you have poor appointment booking rates, oh yes, you can iterate on the offer if you have low appointment booking rates. Jesus, bro, I'm getting super fried in the brain. Or you leave it if your campaigns are in the same KPI. If your campaigns are in the same KPI, ram volume, just ram volume. Okay. I've seen this too many times. Just ram volume. Buy 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 domains, ram volume, send like 10,000 emails a day. So, next on the list is ICP. As you can see, oh god, it has scrolled. This is kind of small. We're gonna zoom in a bit. Lag for a second. It's not lag. Whoa. No. Whoa, at 400%. There we go. ICP, ideal client profile. From the dawn of cold email, there has always been spammers. The people that get a list of 50,000 emails and they just let the emails fly. You've probably seen them. You probably are them. It also doesn't work. Like these emails just hurt my soul internally. Like they're just so it hurts. Like just like we could sit in this and revel at the amount of pain I could have looking at this genuinely. So we're just not going to do that, right? So just don't be these people. So here's how to fix this. Know who you're targeting. Roofers, SMMA, fintechs, etc. Right? And then the qualification criteria is really, really important as well. So this is the general qualification process. Revenue, headcount, technologies, position, industry, location. Pretty substandard, like standard, okay? What I will say is for this, if you are running revenue and like revenue goals and you're like, I want to work with companies doing, let's say 10 or like, sorry, not 10K per month, like 100K, 500K per month, a majority of these companies are private companies and you can't actually find out their revenue. It's physically very, very difficult. So what you should do is go to someone that you know that has a similar revenue level and then just be like, how many employees do you have? And just map it off that, right? And that should be a pretty good uh, statement. So the next step is, can you find them by email? This is great and all, but can you like actually contact them by email? Roofers are always on their phone, so cold calling is usually the way. SaaS are always on the laptop or in their email, so you email them. Influencers are always on social media, so you DM them. It's a pretty simple process. Just go where the money is. Not even where the money is, but just go where the people are, you know? So make sure they actually have an email. Something to note on this is if you have, let's say, an influencer and they're always receiving DMs, always receiving DMs, and you email them, it's that's a pattern interrupt. Like you need to realize that. Like if roofers are always on their phone, like I know they get loads of emails as well, guys. Okay, I understand that, but they get quote less emails, right? I don't think they do. I think they still get loads of emails. So yeah, there's that. So do your due diligence. The automatic qualification process, if they have certain criteria, example, if they're on LinkedIn as roofers, they're actually serious as quote a roofer, right? They're actually like serious as a human being. So it's one of those things, right? So next on the list is sourcing leads. Once you've hypothesized an offer, you can only know how good it really is through volume of outreach and iteration, which I will go through later on in full detail. The next step is sourcing as many qualified emails as possible. It doesn't matter how good your offer is or understanding of the market. If you can't find qualified leads at volume, you can say goodbye to generating appointments from cold email. So, how do we do this, guys? This is the real question. How do we actually do this? The first step is preparing a more general qualification criteria to take the leads you source through. Create a spreadsheet with columns like revenue, headcount, technologies, position, industry, location, etc. Right? Because ideally you have a niche, but you also have like niches inside the niche. So maybe there's a specific headcount you want, and then there's also, after maybe 25 people in a company, you want to hit them with a different messaging and a different person. Like that's important to find out in a sense. So yeah, The second step is making sure you can actually find emails of a person in your niche with your exact criteria. I'm going to go through how I source leads without spending hours looking for them, how I enrich a tiny TAM, your total addressable market, and email validation process, right? So local businesses. If you're outreaching to local businesses, this can run into problems. These emails are very hard to find because a lot of them don't have websites or much of an online presence at all, which is usually a red flag where you don't really want to work with them if they don't have a website for one and an online presence for two. Like that's not a real legit business at that point. That being said, there are a few databases and softwares that can help you find these. So Google Maps with Instant Data Scraper, that's a Pokeball. That is a Pokeball, and I will demonstrate. Lead Swift, which is $25 a month or euros, and then D7 Lead Finder is 50 euros a month. These are pretty simple. They're just databases. Awesome. So I will demo how to use Google Maps and Instant Data Scraper. Oh yeah, Instant Data Scraper. I'm blind, man. So look, right? You can basically come here and you click try another table till it finds the correct one. And as you can see, these are all the gyms inside Google Maps right now. And I remember I used to do this because how do I describe this? I used to do this because I was cold calling gyms for like building chatbots for them. It was a while ago, and that's a whole nother story, right? But basically, you come through and you click start crawling, and watch. You just watch the magic happen. Like just watch this absolute beauty of a scraper. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. And as you can see, it'll naturally go through and keep crawling. And this is really good for databases. And like if you want to scrape um, ones that paginate as well, which basically means it goes to a different site, you can do that as well. So this one is just this is just hot, right? This works. So that's Google Maps. Okay, let's load the B2B course back. All right, we'll make this full screen so it looks nice for all of you guys. The next one is global businesses. Most most B2B databases use LinkedIn data, which is the most up to date because like it's LinkedIn, it's a social platform. It's also a business social platform. The main one is Apollo. So you go here to export leads for cheap. I use Export Apollo. It's for $1.50 for 1K leads. So would recommend, very cheap. A majority of the big dogs in this space either use Apollo or enrichment software. So yeah. The other options for B2B industries are Warp Leads. For sourcing SaaS companies, you have Blackda. For B2B service providers, you have Clutch. So you can get thousands of leads decently qualified here across just about any industry you can think of. Once you've done this, we can go over enriching leads and getting the max amount of emails possible from these lists. So I will show you how I basically go about the process now for Apollo for a majority of my clients. So if I come over here, nope. Okay. Awesome. So you come into Apollo, right? And let's hope this does not take too long to load. For some reason, it does this. And we're not going to cut. You're going to sit with me in pure silence. There we go. As you can see, this looks wonderful and it's currently loading. And we come into people. And as you can see, there is already a filter because I use this platform a lot, right? And I was looking for people that did lead generation, funnily enough. That's funny. It is really funny. Right. So let's say you wanted a list of, mm, let's see, marketing agencies in America. And a lot of people want to sell to these people. So the first thing I usually go to is marketing agencies. The real first thing I go to though is I have a bookmark of every single Apollo industry. So this is every industry inside Apollo, and I just feed it into AI and I ask it to, I want it to find the top five industries for, um, I want to the top five industries for, I don't know, like marketing or something. Let me see. Q2, Q2. There you go. Yeah, give it a second. Claude 3 Magnum Opus. By the way, this is just so helpful. I think my head's in the way. Here, let's move this. Oh, wait. Can I remove while I'm recording? Oh my god, I've just pulled the whole thing across. Fair enough. You've just seen a black screen. Okay, so as you can see here, and I will just keep moving this across. I will move this back at some point. Oh, that's wrong. So there's digital/social media, there's connected TV, there's e-commerce, consumer goods, tech and software, media and entertainment. So now I know which ones would be ideal for marketing. And so if I close this and I move my head, oh my god, stop. Yeah, okay, enough. So if I come over here and I go, right, I've used this enough, so I know marketing and advertising is an industry. That is to get other ones and also the main ones. So I will have to tweak the prompts. But I would go into marketing and advertising. And then if I open this back up, digital/social. Let's see. Digital. Oh, it seems they depreciated it. This might be an old list from Apollo. Okay, it has a majority of them. The reason I have that is because this industry list doesn't actually have all the industries. Like when you scroll up and down, you actually can't, like, there's a lot more. So you get that. And what you do is you come to location, you go to account HQ or contact, both work. United States, boom. And then you come over employees. So of course, if you want to work with people that are absolutely huge and they have like a lot of employees, then obviously you want to target higher up in the food chain. Let's just say it's 11 to 20 for the time being. And then we come over to job titles is very important. Let me see. So include a job title. So what I would recommend for this, I never use where is it? Sorry. With management level and departments and job functions, I like never use these like at all because they miss out on too many leads and it just doesn't, people don't work like that. It never seems to work out for me. So like never use this. I always get better results when I use the job title function. Okay. So here you go like, we'll just say we want founder. Oh God, CEO. Um, all directors. If you want, you can segment via like ops or sales or etc. Wow, that is some good water. Absolutely incredible. My throat is getting dry. Vice presidents. Usually when I'm building Apollo lists, I'm not talking to myself. That would be a bit odd. So, yeah, I'm talking to you. So yeah, right. We have this now, and then what you want to do is from here as well. You go over to. So this one is important because if you have a software that can, let's say, source the leads for you, yeah, that's really good. I would absolutely like go do that. But if you were just running kind of email status and you don't want to deal with all the like BS that comes along with trying to source the leads and enrich them, like if you're not using Clay, pretty much is what I'm saying. If you're not using Clay, just it's probably not worth doing this. So you just hit verified. And then what we do is now we have about 15,000 leads to reach out to. You take this URL, you go to, here we are, should be this one here. Oh, you can see my face get darker. It's very funny to watch. And then watch. I think the website's kind of dark unless they've revamped it. Yeah, there we go. It still stays kind of dark. You'll see later though when I go back to the gamma dark. So so as you can see, $1.50 for 1K, get started. And then you come over here. Let's hope my details are not. Oh, here we go. Perfect. And so it seems they've added in personal numbers as well. So if I go the and 353, and then we're not going to put in my actual number here, even though if you can find it, fair enough. Liam. mtoss.com. Oh, they checked the phone numbers. Yeah, I definitely I'm not entering. Um, oh no, I think it's 85. Yeah, sorry, it was just the beginning. You kind of start with 0. And then what you do is you take this URL and you just put it in here. And then you select the amount of leads, so 15K, whatever it is, 15K. Give it a tag, referral code if any, and then you submit. So what I will say from this is, wait, if I go 15K, $50, that does that add up to number 15K? Yeah, it does. Sorry. I was just thinking to myself there. So the reason you can do this is if you have an Apollo account, right? Anybody can open this list. Like I can literally watch. I can make another tab, go Control V and enter and just search it up. And then it just like watch, the list is going to pop up in front of me. This is the beautiful thing about Apollo. And one of the things I plan on doing whenever I get the chance is building out a GBT that can like make Apollo URLs, so I can like do it on like my own terms. Yeah, my own terms, that type of shit. Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. So as you can see, it has like the URL is set out for these specific quote things, right? The only thing that's difficult to automate is the industry tags, which definitely is more difficult to figure out. But that is the walkthrough for Apollo and how to get them for extremely cheap. There's literally like no issues on that. If you have a leads issue, stop complaining. Okay, just stop complaining. And yeah, let me see if I can also just bring this over here. Right, let's load this up. I am not sure where my B2B doc has gone. Here we are. So next on the list is lead enrichment. So although these softwares are great for getting volume, not every lead will have email data from these softwares. So if you have a large TAM, you're fine because getting 500K emails after having 1 million leads is still absolutely huge volume, like absolutely huge. But if your TAM is small, this is where problems start to arise. Like how do we solve for maximizing the amount of emails in a particular TAM? Like sure, you have 500K emails and I can rip through 500K emails. That would take me a while unless you built out a really robust system and you had your own Google panels, etc. But if you have a TAM of 1,000 people, maybe 5,000 people, like that is not a lot of people, like at all. You know what I mean? So the idea is when you are working on something like this, you want to make sure that you can get as much data from the TAM as possible. So I'm going to show you pretty much some workflows that are able to kind of do this, and it's based off kind of Clay and working it out. And before I show it, right, the way these work is you basically take the domain name plus the name of the person you're looking to find and loop through every possible combination you can like find. So if it's Liam Yek and you have mtoss.com, it's Liam Y at mtoss.com. It's Liam Yek at mtoss.com. It's Liam at mtoss.com. I have an arrow here because this is actually my email. So if you're going to cold email me, at least be good. So yeah, once their server finds a match, they return it, and now you have an email to contact. Right. So here are a few options: drop contact, clear out, find email, Toomba. Also with Apollo, you can enrich the domains so you only get the contacts of the people that work in the company. Right. So it's a pretty slick process. Like I'm not gonna lie, it's a really nice process. Um, and it's in this video here. And this is what I would absolutely recommend looking into. Awesome. So I'm going to show you the waterfall enrichment, which is basically the platforms like Clay, and I'll be skipping ahead a little bit to the validation section, which you'll understand in a second with the validation process. But this is a Clay table that I've whipped up, got some leads, and you see we have pretty basic data: first name, last name, full name, company name, the title, the LinkedIn URL, company name, domain, more title, job segment, role abbreviation, etc. And all this does, right, is we have, first of all, we generate permutations. So this is all the possible combinations of an email, of what someone's email can be. Like realistically, I can only have so many ways of Liam Yek inside of an email as an email name. So there's that. Then from here, we ran a HTTP API. This is to TryKit. Let me see if I can get them up. So this is the first step of the process because they're half a cent for an email. A few other ones are like 1 cent, 2 cent. These guys are half a cent for an email. And from what I've noticed in the consistency, they're quite good on the validation and the numbers. So we get some of the emails here. Then what happens is we find a work email using lead magic. Then this is find email, this is Prospeo, and this is drop contact. So what this looks like is if I click in and move this around. So here we are. So you have lead magic, find email, Prospeo, drop contact. So I put it through 4 verifiers to find this one person's email. And yeah, and then at the end, we then validate the email as well with a validation provider, which is just more lead magic, which I use a lot of these guys, which is nice. And then this is just a general formula. All this explains is if the first possible valid email, so if this is empty and if this is empty, then you run this column. And then from there, it outputs the waterfall at the end. And then I then put it all into a new column as a merge. So this is just a merge column. And then from here, we then validate this merge column with lead magic, and then we then get all the data necessary, and then I port it over to a smart lead campaign or an instant lead campaign or any of those, which I will go over in a second. But this is basically what the waterfall process with validation looks like. And if you have a tiny market, this is what you do. This is what you're supposed to do because like these are high quality contacts and most people usually aren't spending this much money of finding like these specific contacts. So yeah, that is the general process. Let's get back to the video because this is turning into definitely a longer one. So email validation. Once you've got as many emails of decision makers in your niche as possible, the last step is to validate the leads, which you saw there with lead magic. Right? Emails are bucketed into a few main categories: valid, invalid, catch-all, unknown, risky. So which emails should you send to and why? You only send to valid emails. Full stop, finito, you don't touch anything else, right? If I come over here, so I'm only sending to valid emails. Literally only. These are invalid. They just mark them off because they don't exist and you're going to mess up your email sending. And then these are valid catch-alls, which means when you email them, it filters the email, it redirects it to a different provider. So you don't actually get a ping back and you don't actually know if it's safe to send to these because you don't know where it's forwarding off to. So that is also really dangerous. So yeah, only valid. And every email you send to must be valid, otherwise you will get bounced, which destroys deliverability and therefore your entire cold email campaign. Tools you can use to validate emails. I specifically use Million Verifier and Lead Magic. They're the 2 main ones on the market. Well, I say main ones on the market, but Million Verifier, pretty much everyone uses them. And Lead Magic, I use them as well, just because I have a good plan with them, spending money with them, and I was like, why not? So, any emails that are catch-all or unknown can be validated to. That is so hard to say. Validated to. It's just expensive. So tools on the market, which is like Scrubby and Catch-all Verifier, frankly, would not even like the hassle, like the risk, not even risk. The hassle is just not worth sending to these because it takes between 1 to 2 days to get a response from these softwares to see if the email is actually valid and redirecting. So yeah, there's that. What is next? Oh shoot, it's done the thing again. There we go. If I go F11, we're going to give you, right, email sending softwares. You should have a massive list of emails right now. So it's time to start sending. I would recommend Instantly or SmartLead. These are the 2 main ones on the market. And what I will say to anybody thinking about jumping into this kind of pool of Instantly versus SmartLead, which one is which, frankly, both are good. They both have their ups and downs. I have an entire video on my channel going through which ones I'm using now. I'm using SmartLead, but they both have their pros and cons. And there's another video on the channel, but yeah, that's like a different issue. There's other ones on the like up and coming as well. Like there's like Pitbull AI, there's Email Bison, and frankly, there's a lot of these softwares. I haven't used them, so I can't actually speak to them. I know Smartlead and Instantly are good, biggest on the market. They have the funding. Well, that's debatable, but they have money. So yeah, they're the best in the industry right now for sending absolutely insane volume. You can automate everything from setup, sending, tracking, warm up. I will explain warm up in the next section because that's really important. And they also have insane UIs. Well, some of them. And I'm going to literally show you how you can set everything up in both to start sending mass volume because of the tech can get a little complicated on both. So I'm basically going to do a quick kind of walkthrough. If you want something a bit more in depth, I can. So now we have Smartlead and Instantly open, and I'm just going to be walking through the general UI, just general settings that I have for a lot of the stuff I have set up. And then additionally, I'll be going through the Instantly and setting up an entire email just on my end as well with an internal SOP I have for my inbox manager. So it all begins in the email campaigns tab. We have the just general campaigns. When you create a campaign, you'll have the percentage of the campaign, I guess, completed or pending. And then like frankly, like I look at this, I'm like, this is a good indicator for when to upload more leads. When it gets to around 60-70%, I know I need to whip up a new campaign, or well, yeah, just pretty much whip up a new campaign. Next, we then have the report. So we have the sent. So this is just the amount of emails we just send out. We'll have the replied, the positive reply, and then the bounce rate. As you can see, we have like 4,500. We have 4 to 5% reply rates, and then like 71 replies and positive reply rate. So this is really important to get like a general average of the campaigns. So as you can see, I ran a bunch of tests here. This was just straight up running the exact same copy using different info providers to different emails. And you see we get like vastly different results across the board. And yeah, just pretty much you get vastly different results across the board. So let's say we go into this one. This one did quite well towards Outlook. It had an 8.5% reply rate. And ooh, don't do that. Here we are. This is where I was supposed to go. So this is the general metrics board that you're going to be looking at initially. And again, this is very important, very nice. And this is where I spend the majority of my time anyways, which is this is the sequences tab, and it tells you what just the metrics look like in general. And as you can see from this, you can tell that we have the first email obviously gets the most replies. Second email also gets about half-ish, maybe a bit more than half. And then third email gets a bit more than half as well. No, bit less than half. 1, 2, yeah, that's right, bit less than half. And then you can see the positive reply rates as well. So 8%, this is 3%, and 7.5%. And this is a good general metric to see which campaigns are doing better. So I actually have a better example in here somewhere. It is one of the campaigns that I think it was this one. So this is a good indicator, I think. Yeah, so look, you see on this one, we have a 30% reply rate. And what's funny, or sorry, positive reply rate. And what's funny is these are running the exact same, like the copy is the exact same. Like there's zero difference in between the copies. Like I literally did not change a thing. And the reply rates are so different across different providers with different reply rates. So like Outlook they're probably so tired of getting spammed. Like it's just so tired of it. So yeah, as you can see, like this had a 30% reply rate, this had a 4% afterwards, and then 11% afterwards. So with this, that means I know that the second and the third email could maybe use a copy rejig. So a different offer, different value proposition, hitting different pain points. And then for this one, pretty simply, it would be like we have the initial email and the second email are receiving some pretty okay reply rates, but the last email could maybe use a boost. So I could change it around. So this is the generally what it kind of looks like on that end. And then honestly, all of these other metrics, I don't really need to look at. Like I focus on this only. And then this is just the inbox. I don't really look at this either. If I go into performance, like this is just general metrics. This is good if you're running like APIs and stuff. All the data can get pushed out, which is the nice thing about Smartlead. Let's see, the leads list is also, it's just like the leads list, and you just import this subsequences. I have the inbox manager that handles this, and then we have the trigger logs and smart servers. I'm gonna be completely frank. I spend the majority of my time just in here. This is the tab I spend the most of my time on, and this is what I would recommend you spend most of your time on as well. So with that as well, so if I come back to email campaigns, we come up to create campaign, and I'm just gonna just name this delete, so I know to delete this. So here I was going to click this, but all this does is it brings up a folder, and I think I have some folders that I don't want people to see. So you just basically click this, it'll bring up the folder tab. You can upload leads, and then this again, this is pretty self-explanatory. You just put in the copy that you guys are currently using. So the subject line is when you basically bring up the email, you have the initial subject line. I don't think I need to explain this. I hope you guys understand what a subject line is and the body of an email. One of the main things that you guys should know is insert variables. This is very important. So these variables are just dynamic variables. They change with time. Again, you guys probably have a good idea of this. One of the ones I use a lot is the SL, like day of week. SL day of week is very useful because it's just dynamic and it adds another layer to your email very simply. And this is one of those really, really useful ones. And yeah, honestly, it's just you just write the copy, put in the list, and let me see. One of the things I would recommend is I have this. So if I bring back Merlin, Merlin is the goat, and I've been using him slightly, so the credits might have changed since my last time. If I just change this in 4.0 mini, I actually have a smart lead syntax prompt. So you can have a look at this, right? So I'd like to introduce the concept of syntax, also known as syntax method. I'm honestly, I'm not going to read this, but if you want to copy this, you can have a look at it. And here, as you can see, and then you basically just ask it what a syntax is. And this is nice because when I write my campaigns, I make it in a Google Doc. And then what I do is I put them into the smart lead and I syntax them inside this robot or inside Merlin. And yeah, that's what I do. And so if I was like, hi, first name, oh, that's not useful name. Would you like to buy my stuff? Right? And then what it would look like is if we did this, yeah, so look, hello there, and then it would syntax this as well. Sometimes it can act a bit funny. AI is never perfect, but it does a pretty good job. Would you like to purchase, buy, get, acquire my item, stuff, products, goods? So you just throw in your entire copy in this and it will just revamp this process. So that's what I do personally. And then frankly, like insert images, sure you can do that, insert links, emoticons, but you guys should have this pretty down. And then you just add a step if you need another step, and then you can add like let's say 3-day step or something. So pretty simply, that is how that works. Awesome. So oh shoot, actually a manual step. I'm gonna be honest, I have never used a manual step in my life. What? Maybe I need to start doing this. I don't think I do. I've never used a manual step in my life. One of the cool things is you can actually use a preview as well. So nothing's going to pop up. So you need a lead to be in here for it to work. But it will basically preview the whole email. So if you preview it and your syntax is fucked, right, you'll know. It's just one of those things. It'll show because the best way of showing it is it'll look kind of like this. Right? Like it'll just look like that inside the email. And like it's not completely finished, but if I come over here and I do this as well, and I run the same thing, you see it removes it. So this is how you know the syntax is like screwed. And you can also send a test email to your own email to see what it looks like. Would absolutely recommend everybody do that just because I'm gonna be frank, there are times when I have severely messed up and I didn't do this and the syntax was still there and it looked like a terrible email and the formatting was off and I opened it on my phone and it's like this big like piece of blob and it's like shit, like come on. So just test it, just test it. Next is the setup. Oh, save changes. Nice of them to not move on until we save changes. Very nice. So choose sender accounts. So okay, when you basically select this, you'll have a bunch of accounts inside. I'm gonna have like a blur job. So basically, when you select this, you can just search up your accounts and select all very simply. Let me see. Email schedule. This is also pretty self-explanatory. So if you come in here, you have you just have all this pretty much. You just pick the time zone you want to contact. Sorry. Monday to Friday. I'm experimenting on sending Sunday evening right now because I've been told by a lot of people that like they will check Sunday evening. So just something that's on the table, just so they pick it up Monday. Another thing is just a little tip: when you're starting your campaigns, don't have them on 9 o'clock. Always change this timer. So you can go like 9 and then set it to like 9:06 and like 5 to like I don't know 5:37 or something. There is zero like empirical evidence for this for like this actually working, but it just makes sense. It's one of those thoughts where it's like don't begin at 9 a.m. at the same time as everyone else. So don't quote me on that, but it takes like 2 seconds. So like just try it. And then you basically set the campaign date and then a max number of leads. Modify settings. This is pretty simple. So you boost your deliverability by sending emails in plain text. Always have this on. Replies to a message. I force plain text pretty much like all of the time. So yeah, let me see. Smart servers. Sending pattern. I usually have around 70% follow up, 30% new leads. I always have this on. It always. I've had it happen before where I was working with a finance company that did PR. They had I'd emailed one of their okay, there was two people in the sequence or in the same campaign with the same domain, which is fine. Right, that's completely fine. But I sent them the email and this was for a client and basically they replied back. They were going through like the arbitration process where they were like, oh, like sending contracts and proposals back and forth. And then what happened is this the second person that was in the campaign forwarded the email to the person that was dealing with my client, and it was like, oh Jesus Christ, and it just kind of like it fizzled out, and it was just unfortunate, but it's one of those learning things where like it's never going to happen again now because it was a mistake of mine earlier on in my days, and so don't have that on because that could mess you up. This I don't really do this anymore because you can do this like beforehand with certain softwares. Um, this usually has a percentage. I put IntelliCategorize. Categorize. Sometimes it's not great, to be honest. Like so it really is not great sometimes. But basically have all of them on. I have all of them on anyways. It doesn't hurt because the inbox manager checks them all anyways. So it doesn't really affect me. And then I always have uh the last one. And then this one I'm starting to incorporate, which is the ignore auto categorized out of offices from the reply rate. And then bounce protection, I always have to about 3%. And I don't have this on. And you just save the general settings. So yeah, and those are the general settings I run. And then from here, you go next and you can like set it all up. But obviously, we cannot do that now. So that's like the general like campaign setup. We have, this is the master inbox. So this is fine. Frankly, I haven't seen this in a while just because my inbox manager looks at all this stuff mostly and it's not really me, which is nice. And he just like replies, I have the templates, etc. Email accounts. Actually, going back to this, you can I have a formatted by email campaign right now just so I'm like privacy of course and I want to be just be careful. But I like it's good to segment by a campaign to see what the responses look like. This is the email accounts tab. So this is primarily Google right now. The way I tag my accounts is this. So I have MTOS, which is obviously MTOS. I have MTOS Gmail, and then I have Gmail. So I have the three separate tags on it. This is a new thing I implemented just because it was getting so hectic trying to figure it out and trying to add it all to campaigns. So I put three different tags on. So if I have this is just Gmail and warming. So warming is good just to have it on warming. The tagging system in Smartlead, I'm gonna be honest, has a lot to be desired. Like it really does have a lot to be desired, but it's a good software. So yeah. Let me see. Oh yes, and then you can click inside. I'll show you my warm up settings, which is also could be quite important. Could be quite important to know what to set your warm up on. Give it a second to load. Here we are. Right, so it's been off and on slightly, but let me see. General warm up. So this is basically how much has been sent over the last few days. As you can see, there's two lulls. I think there's something up with their something was up pretty much, but it looks like it's kind of back on track now. We have general, so I put 20 messages per day, 7 minimum time gap. I'm gonna be honest, I'm looking to I'm testing less per email now because I want the emails to last longer. Like I will buy more emails. I just I need them to last longer. And with the setup I have now, I basically have no reseller costs, and I'll explain that as well. So this is email warm up enabled. I put 25 per day. Daily ramp up is 5. It's between that should be 22. The reply rate is 65%. This is never accurate, by the way. Like never accurate at all. Um, I don't do any of this stuff. Management, that's management, and in campaigns. Yeah, okay, that's fine. This is the leads tab. This is also just like leads. So this is when you just import. I'm like never here, so like don't use it. Integrations, I have Clay integrated already. For some reason, it doesn't say it, but like Clay's integrated. Client access. Whoa. Yeah. Okay. So I'll go back to that. I probably should have clicked into that, but whatever. This is for if you have people um, that like your clients want to see what they're looking at as well. So you can have this in. Some people just don't care, and some people really do care. It just depends. And then the global analytics. So this is just general analytics as well. So you can see across a broad stretch of campaigns just to see what it kind of looks like, and you can segment it into certain campaigns. So if I click MTOS, here we are, and if we click apply, here we are. So when you come into here, you can kind of tell. So that's nice. Smart delivery. Oh yeah, so this is smart delivery. I have run a few smart delivery placement tests, but to be honest, the single best indicator is just how your campaign is performing. Like I have some campaigns back there that had an 8% reply rate, a 5% reply rate, and like it was fine. Like that, they're fine. And then I have campaigns with like a 1 to 2% reply rate when they start burning, and it's like that's fine. Also, like I know they're broken. I also don't know why this isn't loading. So I don't know what's going on with their servers. And then these are smart servers. Again, I don't think this is even remotely relevant. Apparently, this is something that's like come into fashion now with email bison and all this. There's no evidence for this to be spending more money on something that I don't even know if it works with no data. So like you know what I mean? Like I'm not using it and I'm doing just fine. So you know what I mean? It's just you don't need to do that. Right, okay, let's move over to Instantly and I'll show you afterwards how to set up the emails. So this is this this is the setup for Instantly, right? And this is slightly different for a setup and it's a bit different. So there's the lead finder. Don't use this. I'm sorry. It's just so expensive. Use Apollo. Use what I was recommending before. It's just cheaper. This is like 2,000 leads for like $40. So it's not on. It's just not on. And then this is where the email accounts are. Um, so if I come in here, you can basically see the email accounts where it's kind of warming up. If you come into the settings, there's all these kind of it's just general settings here as well. Daily campaign setting limit, I put it as 30. Wait time, I haven't set this up properly yet. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just like testing this out right now again. Um, yeah, so the main difference, right, is the main difference is the increase per day. I put on 2 and 20. So this right now is just a test for me to see how Instant is performing in comparison to Smart Leads. So there's that. And yeah. And what else is there? Add new. So actually, wait, we're gonna go back. We're gonna hit add new. Oh shoot, okay. Right, actually, while we're here, they have pre-warmed up domains. This is very nice. I think Smartlead has it as well. I kind of forgot to go over that. But basically, you can buy domains that are already warming up, and the assumption, which is it's a true assumption, is that the longer you warm your domains, the longer they're sending emails, the longer they exist, the better the email deliverability is, which makes like literally complete sense, right? It just makes complete sense. And what they do is they get a bunch of domains and they just do that, and then you can buy them off instantly, and Smartlead as well. And the way this works is they just buy generic domains and you buy them, and frankly, most people don't really care who sends the email as long as it's forwarded to the right website and like the message matters. So I'm just saying, like, no one actually, like, it doesn't really matter. So there's that. This is the done for you setup with Google. So you just buy in. They will set up all accounts for you and then connect an existing account, which I will demonstrate. Let me see. So if I go into campaigns, right. So this is just a general, I guess, frontier for campaigns. I'm gonna leave it to my editor to blur this because hopefully he blurs this. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. So if I click in, we can see all the numbers. Wow, this was way whiles ago. This was what, the 6th of November. It was like 3 months ago now. Jeez. Okay, so there's this. And going through, again, you have the same stats, which is the reply rate, the clicked opportunities, which is the most important one, and then the sent. So let me see, leads. So you just add leads here, which there are still some leads as well. This is incredible. This has been a while. And then this is the company, or sorry, the sequences as well. I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna breeze through this because again, I use Smartly majorly, so I'm just kind of going over what this kind of looks like internally. They have a different syntax structure, and then you also have the send next message in 3 days. You have the sending schedule, which is the same concept. You set a start and an end time. You have the options, which is just adding the general inboxes. Send first email as text only pro. Interesting. That's a new thing. No HTML. The first email as text only. Wow. Yeah, and then stop on reply. This is honestly pretty simple stuff. A/B test optimization. Let me see. Time gap between emails. I have 11 minutes and 4 minutes. Max new leads. I pretty much set this to whatever the amount of emails I have in the campaign is. Choose a winning metric. I actually never have turned this on because I like to see the numbers and just iterate off that anyways. So it doesn't really matter. Let me see. Enable company reply stop. That's again super important so you don't get this wrong. So yeah, subsequences as well. This is just pretty standard where you just move it into a subsequence. This was the uni box. Interesting. Again, pretty simple. I have the inbox manager doing this, so it's been a while. And then this was the general analytics. Looking back, 185K. Oh no, 231K. Jeez, I remember all this stuff. The CRM, they also have a CRM, which I just have never touched in my life because this is a cold email platform and not a CRM. So again, I've never touched this and I don't plan on commenting on it. This is the website visitors. Just use vector.co. I would just use that as well. Like you can set this up, sure, but vector is free. So I'm just saying. And this is the inbox placement test, which I also have not touched, but inbox placement test. It's good to at least test it. I know that I said before the campaign evidence is, I know I'm contradicting as well. Campaign evidence is the most important, but it's also good to see what the campaign evidence looks like. So there's that. And then we go into email accounts and we're going to add new, and we're going to add new for the two of these now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a domain literally right now, and I'm going to hope that it doesn't show too much of my details because that would be really stupid. Let me see, connect. Okay. So we are going to go to pork bun. I'm doing this now because first of all, I do need to set up some more, but I need to set up more of the .co since there's a .co sale right now, as you can see for 340, and there's literally zero difference between .com and .co. And if there is a difference, I haven't noticed it because I have so many of them. So I actually have this another prompt for AI, which I will show you here as well. We're just gonna go here. This Merlin thing, incredible. So this is the prompt I use. Provide me with 20 similar domains, similar domain variations for this mtos. Sure, I could put mtos.co. I'm just going to use test because, it's test. Make sure they're in a list, and also they all end in .co. Never have any numbers, dashes, or thingies in the domain name, right? And you just put this in, and you just get like a big list of this, and you can specify more things. It probably shouldn't just put letters at the end, but whatever. And what you do is you come into bulk search and you come over here. Ideally, you click this, but I have to remove them all, so I'm not going to click that. And then you just search. And what it will do is it will search up all of these like domains, as you can see, and you can just add them and buy them. We're going to go back to that other one. So like that's how I buy domains on like I just use AI to like stiff them up. Another recommendation, by the way, I have done this before where I had a client domain and I literally took the exact domain and I put client domain. Sorry, is that the right way? Client domain and then go. So I just put go at the end. And don't do that. Don't do that. Because they were getting emails for phishing after like a week of sending. So it was basically saying, like, I think this person is trying to copy you. It had to have the exact same name and a really similar domain. So what I'd recommend is I'd definitely add more words, maybe get a .co or a .com or something like a different one, and then remove some vowels inside the actual domain, and then maybe add like a prefix and a suffix because like it's really easily avoidable if you just like make the domain correct. So yeah, it's just one of those things, and you can't really stop it, and it just annoys it doesn't look professional. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. So we're gonna add this to cart. Come over here. Do 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 do. Let me see. Continue to billing. Credit card. I acknowledge I'm going to buy your stuff. Let's see if I can avoid having my details go up on screen. And I can just like, oh, no, I cannot. Right, we're not going to do that. I'm going to pause and I'm going to buy this and I'll be right back. Awesome. So we are back. We have bought the domain mtos test.co. And yeah, this is, I'm going to basically walk you through my email creation SOP, which I've made for my inbox manager here. You can have a good look at that. And this is like literally everything you'll need to set it. Like literally, it is the step by step. Of course, I've removed the video tutorials because there's like details on that can't go out, and also like passwords and stuff. But the first thing you need to do is this is the API access, right? Turn this on. Make sure this is just like set on at all times. I've already done it just to save some time, but you just turn it on. And the reason that is needed is you need to add some certain like MX records to the process. And then from there, we then go into this thing. Whoops. So this is just the introduction. I try and lay out everything for the inbox manager to have just like everything on it. This is here because I have panels where I don't have inbox reseller costs and I just put on that. So that's nice. So this is pretty much like everything I'll need. You guys can read through this in your own time. I don't want to go through like everything, but it's just Google Sheets, Google admin panels. This is just some of the access criteria for him and or them, who knows. And then basically for all the logins, this is setting up the VPN, which honestly, I'm not sure if I need anymore just because of how it's been set up. But this was just in case they aren't based in the US, since these are US based inboxes. And that just means that when you're logging into them, sometimes you'll get flagged by Google. This is the just log into Pork Bun, which we already did. This is setting it up on Spaceship. So this is also really, really important. So this is where this is Spaceship, but on Pork Bun, I have like an automated process for this. So this is a clay table. And I have two columns here because the second one I just duplicated and removed my API key. But all this is it will automate the process of adding domain records to domains. for this is pork bun, and yeah, this is for pork bun. I've seen another setup of this where you can direct it to Cloudflare, and you can also do that. So like that's fine as well. Like it really doesn't matter. And these are the general records you need to add on. Like these are the like you should do this before because it holds you up so much, like so much. And all I have to do, and this is quite nice. I'm looking to automate the rest of this. Oops, sorry, something just popped up on my other screen. I'm looking to automate this, but pretty much you just copy and paste this. So as you can see, so I'll just show you, right? In here, it should just say broken site, yeah. And then if I come into just to show this, right? DNS records, literally, like they have nothing right now, right? So what I do is you come in here, you add in the mtos domain, and I'm just going to put this here as well. So these are going to error, obviously, because there's no API key in here. I'll show this to you afterwards as well. But as you can see, this will all automatically run. And just let that queue. So if I come back to pork bun, right? If I come back to pork bun, let's see. Here we are. And as you can see, all of the SPF or the TXT records and the MX records have been added. And this is very nice because when you do this at scale with lots and lots of domains, this really sucks. This really sucks. But it's the operations you have to set up. So like this is the endpoint. This is the post. Ignore that. I don't know why that's there. Some of this stuff now, I just if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So there's that. And then we have the content, which is SMTP. The type is MX. The priority is 1, and the time to load is 600. So this is like that's for the MX records. The DMARC records, we come in here. This is the secret API again. You're gonna have to get these yourself. The name is DMARC, and then you just add all these records in. And then the last one is this. This is it. If you want to copy this, do it. Like it doesn't really matter. Like yeah, just copy it, I guess. Like it just doesn't matter to me. Yeah, so that's how I do that. And then if I reload this, oh, maybe it takes some time to propagate. Usually some of this stuff takes time to, oh, actually, it's success. So the domain forwarded. Let's see. Oh, yes. Okay, sorry. I know what the issue is. Oh, cool. Let's try this again. Um, let's change it to forwarding. And then we come in here. Let's try this again. Okay. It takes time to load. This works. Trust me, guys. I love when stuff breaks, but I've done this for like all my clients, so it works. It's just it takes some time to load, which is quite amusing actually. So hopefully we can come back to that. And then yeah, so that's how you add those records. And if we keep going through the SOP process, we then have to log into the admin panels. Again, you can read this in your own time if you want, but I want to save you guys time, so like read that as you see fit. Yeah, as you see fit again. And then this is the admin panel that I log into, right? And I now need to add this domain and add all the emails like attached to it. So if I come into accounts, into domains, and manage domains, and then come into pork bun, I take this, whoops. And we come in here. Oh my God, it's asking me to log in again. How lovely. Yeah, this is why I removed all my passwords. So I don't get this stuff happening again, which is nice. Which is absolutely nice. So we have all the mtos domains here. You just click add a domain, enter a domain name, which is this one, add it as a secondary. I then need to verify it as a secondary, so just give it a second. Let's just hope this stuff doesn't take too long, because again, this has been a while since I've properly done this. So the domain host, that should say pork bun. Yeah, that should say pork bun. We're just gonna leave it as use a different host for now. That should say pork bun. Bit weird though, whatever. And then all you do is you come back here, come into DNS records, go into add ATXT, add this as a host. Oh wait, no. Value, TTL, value here, sorry. And you add, And all this is quite quick. When you come back here, boom, and you click confirm, and it should work fairly fast. Should is the strongest word in that entire sentence. If this takes longer than like a few more seconds, then we're just not. Oh, there you go. There you go. Atta boy. Atta boy. I love when stuff works fast. I absolutely love it. Okay. MTOS test. Nice. Okay. Then what you do is, sure, let me follow the process. This is actually why this is here. So you add the domains, and then you verify, and you continue. Okay. And you add the DKIM record. Okay. Right, guys. Now, like that SOP took me a while to build out. Very well done, because now I can follow it. Right, where does this say you go? Apps, Google Workspace. Oh, here. Here. Oh my God. And then you go into Gmail. Here we are. Very nice. You guys are liking this, right? Because this is just insanely long sometimes. And then we come in here, we scroll down. Oh no, we missed it. DKIM. So I have a feeling this isn't going to work first time. The reason being is this usually takes longer to set up. So if I go Control X or F, and then I go test. Here we are. And toss test. Oh, and then you have to generate a record. You could generate. You go Google, and we go here, and then we go TXT, and then this here, and here, and here, and here, and then this should add in. Very nice. And this usually doesn't work first time. Yeah. So this usually just doesn't work like initially. Oh no, there we go. Right, and then once it says stop authenticating, that means it's working. That's very nice. Okay, and you can check back on this if you want. So from here, and I'm trying to like make this as quick as possible because this is gonna take a while. I need to add users, so I'm just gonna like add the users here, like generally. Wait, let me see. Go to admin panel, and then there must be a better way of doing this. Add a user. Here we go. Whew. Add a new user. Let's see. So Liam, Yek, and then we're gonna go Control F, test, boom. Wait. Here we are. Boom. Secondary email. Nope, nope. And then you can add in your like own photos and stuff. It just depends. We're gonna create a password just because I don't want to. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Wow, guys, if you guys want to break in, yeah, go ahead. Go right ahead. I'm not gonna stop you. I'm absolutely deleting this afterwards, by the way. I don't want them to do that. And you add new user. So where is this part in this entire SOP process? Oh, we're not even there yet. Okay, where are we? Okay, done. Again, I've done this so many times, but it's been a while. It has been a while. Bear with me, you know? Okay, now we're here. Now we're here. And this is where stuff gets really easy. So you go into auth, you go into connect, and then, oh, I will need this blurred out as well, actually. Yeah, okay. Let me see. So it's Liam mtos test.co. And then we are in. We have an account now. And yeah, we're in. So if I go into my Gmail, I'm just going to pull this over and just open up Gmail on this tab so I can bring this back. So as you can see, if I come back here, the Liam email should be added now. And then of course you do the warm-up settings, which I showed before. And then there's also one other setting that you guys will not be aware of, which is basically you have to set up IMAP 4 instantly. It's a little different. And then after this, we're going to get back to the doc because this is definitely one of those processes that gets a little long. Right. So for Smartlead, when it's added into the campaign, this is what it looks like as a sending limit of 200 per day. Would not recommend running that. Actually, I might test that just for fun, but wouldn't recommend it generally. And you just add in your like just general kind of like warm up settings, and then right, moving on to adding it to instantly because I know this is getting slightly long and we need to keep this moving. And with the rest of the doc, obviously, you basically go into connect your Google account, and you have to basically follow these steps. So you just come into the email you just made, you come up here, you click the gear icon, and this is giving me grief for some reason, but it's already been opened here. So you basically come to this like settings period, you go to filter IMAP and pop, and then you enable the IMAP status, and then you just save. And then you just save, please. And just give it a second and it's going to save. For some reason, this is like giving me grief right now, but like you'll see in a second, right? And from here, when this is kind of all loaded up, and if I just come over here, so as you can see, it's pretty much saved up now. We are on to adding emails to instantly. So this is a video tutorial, so that's kind of funny. So if we come over here, no, we come over here. Here we are. And the instantly API, yes, IMAP has been connected. We're going to use the auth, and then we're going to click login. And then it's going to bring up this little kind of like thing here. And then you also, okay, there's one thing I missed, which I will go back. I want to make sure this is as comprehensive as possible. So we're just going to go Liam at mtostest.co, continue. And then this will now be added into, oh, just give it a second. Here we are. And then this will connect the account. I may have breezed over this slightly, but I need to also add in an API section. So if I type in API, this basically means that the people or the instantly and smartly need to have access to my Google to access it. So you search up API controls, and you go manage third-party app access. And as you can see, thank God these are cut off because I don't want you knowing these. But you just come in here, you go configure new app, and then let's say it's instantly. I don't think it's going to show up. Usually it shows up INSTA unless it needs another one. Yeah, okay. So usually there's an instantly one here. It's just, I've added it already, right? And then if I click this, okay, right, I can't actually demonstrate because it's already there. But pretty much you go configure new app, you go there, and then, oh wait, no, actually you do this. Oh shoot. I love when I get stuff wrong. If I just put this in here, does that work? Oh, it does. You just put this in. I remember trying to figure this out. That was very silly of me. And then you just give it all permissions and then you click continue and you log in. And like that is that. So that is that entire process. I will go into the rest of the doc now. I hope you did not fall asleep during that, but that is like essential parts of genuinely setting up an entire process like this. And you can actually see. And if you want to do it yourself, you literally like this is the entire SOP. And I've just walked you through end-to-end control on how to do this. So go do it. Uh, let's keep going. So continuing on, I'm going to now show you the best practices for landing in the inbox. Of course, I showed you what the instantly kind of setup looked like in the smart lead and basically the warm-up settings, all that kind of like shebang, fancy stuff. But this is pretty much the commandments for landing in the inbox. And you'll be asking, like, why do I need these? Well, most people go through the exact same process. They source the leads, they then destroy their campaigns because like you're not even reaching the inbox, which is like A1, 101 of what you're actually supposed to be doing. So they often face issues like spam filters, poor senders' reputations, etc. So if your prospects don't see your email, it's game over before literally anything starts. Like there's just no point. So yeah, you must fix. You just have to fix. Like you have to fix this. Trust me, just you have to. So don't send emails if your bounce rate is over 2 to 3%. That's why I set it on the 3% on the timer, or not timer, the cap. No links or pictures. There's a caveat to this, right? If you are working with a client with a tiny TAM and you are like, it might be a central idea to set up this kind of like entire structure and send links and emails because the conversion is higher, then do it. and just always have stuff on the back burner. So if something burns, you can then replace it and then keep replacing and keep replacing it. Uh, don't email personal addresses. Use Google Workspace or Microsoft. Send a maximum of 4. I use 3 generally, and the third one is usually like a brand new email. So like, you know what I mean? Make sure that you email the right people. There's nothing worse than hitting the wrong decision makers. Like the person in ops doesn't really care about sales, even though they should, but they don't. Try to have no blacklists. So you can check your blacklist on MX Toolbox. Just put in your domain, it'll pop up. Warm up your emails for at least 2 weeks using Instantly or Smart Lead. Of course, I just walked you through that. Avoid using spam words. Mail Meteor has a good setup for this where it just clarifies all the spam words Google has in its database right now. Use spin tax. I showed you this as well. Don't check open rates, which you notice I didn't do. DKIM, DMARC, SPF, MX, all of the records. And these are the best general practices I'd recommend. I have a whole like video going through this, so it's right here. You can see it. You can have a look at it as well. So, but just focus because there's a lot of stuff that we have to go through this as well before this even becomes relevant. The cold email best practices are always changing. You always need to stay updated. Genuinely, always need to stay updated. So 150 emails. So these are the sending limits. So 150 emails per domain, 3 inboxes per domain, 25 emails per inbox. I'm looking, like me personally, I'm thinking of maybe dropping this down to maybe like 15 emails outbound per inbox and like 20 warm up. So there's like a discrepancy slightly just to maybe help deliverability. I still need to put that to the test, but this is pretty much like best practices. A lot of people in the industry are doing this. So here's the breakdown. This means each domain will send 150 emails per day across 3 inboxes. Each inbox will send 25 cold emails to cold prospects each day, and then you will then send 25 warm-up emails to warm up each day. So that's the breakdown of the kind of the entire sending infrastructure. And then, so, okay, what is a warm-up email? So a warm-up email, and why do you need it, right? This is essential to understand in cold email. All sending platforms have a quote warm-up rule. And all this does is send fake emails between different emails, like from other people. And it's fake, like they're real emails, but they're like quote fake as well. And this shows you're a person to basically other providers. So why does this matter? So when you cold email someone, you engage 3 things on the back end. You have your IP, you have your domain, and then you have your inbox. And if any of these fail, it just breaks. Like the system physically just falls apart, right? The IP address, if it, as you can see, I have a Venn diagram here. If any of them fail, they all break. Domain has its own reputation. The inbox has its own reputation, and the IP address has its own reputation. So when the IP is cooked, right, it breaks. Like that's the IP gone, and all domains on that IP are basically destroyed. But you can't test it, and if you move your domain to a different IP, it could kind of fix things up because it was an IP issue. But you've probably been affected because generally when an IP is fried, it will affect the domain as well, and the domain was probably the issue as well. That's why providers like sorry, it's basically the providers that don't really ban inboxes or IP addresses or email inboxes. Did I say that twice? I did. Is a bit of an issue because if you don't ban them, they destroy the IP for other people. So that's like not great. And then the domain has its own rep. So the IP can stay safe, but if the domain gets absolutely destroyed and it's getting spam marked, that also destroys it. And then the inbox also has its own reputation. To be honest, what I've seen though is it's pretty universal. When an inbox dies, the domain also kind of dies. So you obviously have to be cautious of that, but that's kind of how it's looking. So yeah, just be cautious of this. And then there, like these 3 things together equal a quote reputation. And I wouldn't think of it as a binary scale of like, yes, it has reputation or no, it doesn't. It's more of like, how much reputation do you have? Like on one side or the other side of quote this like sliding scale. So if any of these are wrong, the whole process pretty much doesn't work. So yeah, I keep on top of this. So this is the A to Z for cold email copywriting, right? Bruce Lee, and you gotta love Bruce Lee as a fellow Asian. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. What this basically says is you need to keep going at it, right? And you need to keep working on the same thing and the same structure and understanding what an actual cold email does and like good copy to actually write and what actually persuades someone to reply to your email. For your information, this is the part where most people quote give up because to be honest, it is really difficult. This cold email copywriting and deliverability are the two most difficult things in all of cold email. And if you ever start doing this, you will understand why. It is some of the most painful stuff you'll do because it just doesn't make sense half the time. Yeah. So if you can get over this wall, you will. Like I'm telling you, you will figure out a way to just print meetings on autopilot. And I'm going to provide you with rules and a general outline and even some templates at the end of the video. But it is genuinely vital that you think for yourself. Do not be one of those peasants, right? Where you go to the scripts on like LinkedIn or something and X, and they're like, unless they've used it in an actual campaign, it doesn't work. If they're posting it online saying, you will definitely book meetings for this, it's like, no, you're not. Stop. You know what I mean? No, it doesn't work like that. So I would recommend to be cautious of any templates quote you're like seeing online. So yeah, warning, you're going to need to send a lot of emails and try out different things, and I will explain how to iterate and test a bit later on, quote, in this video. But for now, I'm going to explain what goes into writing scripts, follow-ups, and handling replies. So the general rules to follow, right? Less than 50 words. If you can get it less than 50, peak, right? Some emails are longer, but less than 50 is perfect. We are lizards, okay? We're literally like TikTok infested uh, dumbasses sometimes. And we see email, I see email, and I delete. I just don't care. So if it's too long, my brain just disappears. Talk about them more than you, at least 2 to 1, or try to anyways, and then highlight benefits to them. The framework I follow the most, which is intro, which is a probing question slash general personalization, offer what you can give them, risk reversal, and then case study slash or extra proof. And then CTA, you basically make it really, really easy to say yes. So I'm going to break this down for you and basically what it looks like and how you can like mix and match these and move them around to your liking. So the intro. This is pretty basic and I wouldn't overcomplicate this, but it's just like these are just general openers and this is if you aren't using AI. And again, I have another video on my channel which is going through like how to use AI in a lot of your emails. It's like an hour long. Would recommend because like these are getting overused and abused and don't really work anymore. But it's basically pretty basic. It's don't overcomplicate it. It's like saw you were in charge of company names marketing, saw company was based in location, saw the reviews you guys got from the area or from area. And now I'm like transitioning away from that. You can also have a quote probing question, which is like, let's say you know they're suffering with marketing, which is the way you built the list. You can be like, I saw you're currently running Google ads. So you now have like a quote intro or like a touch point. So like I saw you're running Google ads or yeah, just something like a touch point like that. I'd have to break it down more, but this is like the opening line of the sequence to basically break the ice with the person. And some people like it when it's straight to the point, to the offer. Depends on the culture and also pretty much who you're emailing. If they're super busy, get to the point. Like just get to the point. Then there's the offer. So this is 80% of the effort. Shit offer equals shit results. I'll give you the universal framework. We can help company do X in Y time without X. Risk reversal. So this is the general framework that is being used. And if you're doing this, this works, but there are better ways of writing the copy. And I will have to go into that in quote another video as well, because there's a lot of nuance when you're writing copy. Like there's a lot of nuance, and that's like a whole fleshed out like 1 2 hour video in itself. So basically, we can help adult Apple add an additional 30% in online sales within 3 months, and we work on a performance basis. We can help Samsung do 20K extra per month within 3 months or your money back. It's pretty simple. People try to overcomplicate it, don't. Like, I think my offer is just like, we can get you 5 to 25 calls on a performance basis. Like, that's the entire offer. And it's like, people are like, okay, like, I kind of need 5 to 25 calls. So there's that. So some high level tactics, you can package it well. So paid ads, end-to-end roofer system, AI agents, 24/7 AI lead gen system. Reason you have this in is because everybody has seen paid ads or, well, AI agents. Not 100% sure if that's going around a lot, but it just sounds cooler. Cooler is obviously one thing. And it also depends on the sophistication of the person you're emailing. So if they like, and your offer. So like if your offer is like saturated to hell, it's like, again, paid ads. Literally everybody and their grandmother has done paid ads or sent emails for paid ads. And unless you're physically not running ads, it's like, it's just like, come on, man. So again, you may have to package this. Case study. This can stand alone or be mixed in. So Apple generated an additional 30K per month using the system, or we can help Samsung do an additional 20K per month within 3 months or your money back. Apple uses the system to generate an additional 30K per month. Okay, so when you're running two numbers, this was a mistake on my end. Like, you probably shouldn't have two numbers in the quote this like kind of setup. So there's that, because it doesn't look congruent with like your copywriting. But you get the gist where you have the case study strapped in with the offer. Then you have the CTA, so you make it easy to say yes/no. So would you be interested in learning more? Can I show you how we can do the same for you? Worth a chat. Very simple CTAs, short to the point. Less is more. Like, if they have a need, they will say yes. So a tip, looms are extremely broken. Can I send over a video of how this works? I have a video on my channel where I booked 17 calls in 2 days, and that was with the loom tactic. I was very busy, but it worked. So yeah. So full email would be, hey, first name, sorry, we're the owner of company name. We can add 20 qualified meetings to your calendar each month with our end-to-end niche system. Case study tried it and added X dollars to revenue. I recorded a quick video about how it works. Mind if I send it here? So pretty simply, it's just set up like this. Variables. So yes, variables are essential to cold email. I've shown you them in the syntax in this document. You've seen them, like, what are variables. If they aren't already like self-explanatory, I'll explain them. Yeah, so let me see. Yes, it basically changes for each prospect. So here's what an example looks like. So hi first name, comma, hi Liam. If this was being sent to me, I can help company name, I can help Apple. So it just changes with the email you're basically sending. It's pretty self-explanatory. The magic happens when you mix it with AI. So when you can mix AI and you can put full placeholders inside LinkedIn and email messages, and you can use AI to run straight references, it works really well. Again, I have a whole video on AI for that. So I would focus on this, and then once you understand this, you can have a look at that as well. Spin taxing. Spin taxing is just the act of spinning syntax or syntax. Important to not get flagged by email systems. Again, you saw this, or I demonstrated it, where it's like, hi Liam, hi, hey, hello Liam. This means each word has a 33% chance of being put in the email. And this just lowers the chances of the just email systems picking up on it. So if you have a 33% chance by a 33% chance by a 33% chance, I don't know what that number is, but it sounds small. And you can keep going. So like, like, what's the worst that can happen? This is now just three variations to not get caught. Do this a few times and with a few words. A tip, just use GBT. I showed you my prompts and my setups before. Very simply, just copy the prompts and just put them in, like just copy and paste them. A liquid syntax. This is a more advanced version of syntaxing, right? It follows the same principle of changing with the email. There's just one difference. It's dynamic. So let me show you. Example, CTAs generally look like this. Open to learning more. When suits for a quick call. This works, don't get me wrong. But with dynamic syntax, and this is with instantly, right? It gets slightly confusing. But yeah, so there's if today's number. This is a bit of coding. Let's set up which time to talk, which time is better for you, and then the now date, now time, and then Yeah, so you can read this. This is just a lot of like the the code like back and forth, and this basically is trying to say, if it's Monday, the output is let's set up a time to talk, which is better for you, Tuesday or Wednesday. If it's Wednesday, the output is let's set up a time to talk, which time is better for you, Thursday or Friday. If it's Thursday, the output is let's set up a time to talk, Friday or Monday. That's what this output is. And it's, how do I describe this? It's just a little different, right? Most of the cold emails I've ever received has never, they don't reference like a liquid like syntax state. And sometimes you don't need it. I completely get that. But for some follow-ups, it can definitely kind of break the moldy ice a little bit. So people think like, oh, this person actually did go through and did actually kind of set this up. And you get the point, right? They did kind of like do that. So every set platform has a different syntax, so you should go learn it. So moving on to the next point. New day, new shirt. We are back at it with subject lines, and yeah, let's get right into it. So before we were talking about the basically A to Z of cold email copywriting, and now it will be subject lines because we need to get them to actually open the email. Because if they don't actually quote open the email, then there's really no point in us, I guess, doing anything in this regard. So we don't need any of this 5 word jujitsu bullshit that's supposed to like influence them. I used to hire a copywriter to help me with some of my emails to get some outside views. It was terrible because they were like the direct response copywriters that wrote some crazy BS that no one actually wants to read. I apologize to that guy, but his stuff just like it wasn't made for the this space. Maybe he was a good email marketing copywriter, but not a direct response copywriter. That takes a very specific set of skills. And if you get that reference, if you know, you know. So yeah, here's a list of subject lines I've been using. They're pretty vague. I wouldn't copy them word for word, but like quick question has been truly used and abused. Definitely split test it against whatever you're kind of doing now. There's quick first name, there's company name question mark, there's hi first name, there's company name X your company name. There's a ton of different ways of going about this. I don't want to overcomplicate it. Again, it's like 2, 3, maybe 4 words, but like after that, I stop paying attention. My brain kind of shuts off. So that's my take on subject lines. Ooh, how do we go to the next one? Next. Perfect. Okay. So we are going to talk about lead magnets now. So this is going to be a very interesting topic to kind of go through on these lines, which is the person in business that leads with the most value wins. So this is basically a really quick example that I've kind of drafted up, which is person A, are you open to a quick call? Pretty simply, it's like, are you open to a quick call? Like it's not too majestic. Like person B, can I make 3 ad creatives for you for free? So it's a simple, not even change of words, but like it's just a change in straight up the offer. And like before, you were offering them to get on a quick call, which is basically taking from them. Person B is, can I make 3 free ad creatives? And it's like the offer has fundamentally changed. I had a software client and they like cater towards the AI kind of front and the audience. And their lead magnet was, will wireframe uh, a build out, a prototype build out for you. And very simply, that just just worked. It just worked, man. So it's one of those things that it kind of just works. So you want to throw some free value at them, make sure it's something they actually want. So person A is taking, person B is giving. So use ChatGPT to find good lead magnets. Don't give away an ad, audit, or an ebook. Why? Because literally nobody cares about that stuff nowadays. Like literally nobody cares about that. So don't try. Nobody cares about an ebook as well. Frankly, like literally no one cares. So the lead magnet has to be perceived in helping them make money, and if it doesn't, then just don't do it. Like just full stop, do not do it. Like it's like you are literally wasting your time. So make sure it's valuable. And another way of making it quote valuable is if you can go to AI and basically just say, look, this is what I'm dealing with. What are the main issues they're dealing with? And then create a lead magnet around specific pain points. Like that will get people to buy. I saw a video at some point. God, it was on X, right? And it was basically someone saying like, they were working for VC, and it was a specific lead magnet to help them save money when they take over or they acquire new firms. It was like 5 of the best ways. And very simply, it worked really well because you can send it over, and inside the PDF, there would be some sort of kind of CTA or call to action in it that you can kind of send. So that's a quick one on lead magnets. Next is follow-ups, right? So this is an interesting one because there's a few different ways of going about this. So there's 2 types of follow-ups: the automated kind in the sending platform, and the other one is when they send a positive reply. And I'll get into positive replies and basically how I kind of structure my answers later in the module. But basically, an automated AKA, like an automated sequence, or AKA just sequences, is basically the first type of follow up. And I usually recommend 1 initial email and 2 follow ups, 3 in total. There has been a new thing coming out where, well, not even new thing, but it's a new, like another thing you can do where you have 1 initial email, 1 follow up, and then you have another quote initial email by writing a new subject line, just so it begins a new thread. And the idea is, if you send 3 emails, it just reminds the person of why they they just didn't respond to you 3 times or 2 times. So it's just like that's prime spam territory. It's due to the fact that you're providing value in every email. You're going to get, yeah, so unless you're providing value in every email, you're going to get marked as spam, pretty much. It's very basic stuff, just bumping up the email to the top of the inbox. So this is just an example. The reason for my email the other day is that we can help you do X. Like, it's just very simple. Case study tried it and did X. Are you open to learning more? So one of the points I'll say is try to make it different to your initial email. You just want it to be slightly different. Maybe just change the value prop, maybe change the value props actually offer, the phrasing, literally the entire, like, you could change the entire email, but just make it different. There's a reason they ignored the first email. So, or it's like, hi, first name. Remember that time when you replied to me? Me neither. Let's make this a first. I would phrase that around and make sure you use it on the right audience. But some people will take, will find this funny. Some people will not. So if you are targeting VCs or anybody in the corporate world that are very stern and they have no sense of humor, I would be very careful. So yeah, that's my take on that. Humor. So this is going to be a quick module, but the more pattern interrupts you can put your prospect in, the better. So in the follow-ups, you can say some pretty funny stuff, and obviously there's a line to this, but it's stuff like, this was the last one. It's like, hi name, remember that time when you replied to me? Me neither. Let's make this a first. And remember, there is a framing aspect to this as well. So yeah, so memes or gifs where it's like, why is it so quiet? Awaiting your fair but stern reply. Oh, I don't know why that has disappeared. That has disappeared, but it was something like, it was not here to get married. I'm not sure why this has disappeared, but you get the point. You want to have funny, just funny follow-ups. This is, you can have them in both sections where if they reply to you or in the general follow-up as well. So both of them work, but they usually work better when they've responded positively and you're just kind of following up a few times. And then now we are on to response handling. So this is a very, very important part of cold email. So you're sending emails and getting responses. So how do you set them into your calendar? This is obviously probably one of the most important parts of cold email, because you're basically there to book calls, right? And to do that, you need to have an on dial response handling sequence where everything you do is on the spot and you can figure it out, right? It's pretty easy. There's just 2 things you need to know. You make it easy to book and you do it within 5 minutes. Right? The whole point of an email is to get them on a call, not tell them about your service or what you do or pricing. You want a call. You just want, straight up, you just want a call, right? And you need to frame it in a way where they benefit. There are 6 main responses. Here are some templates. So this is a positive response. People saying, I'd love to know more. So this is one I use quite often. So it's, hi name, great hearing back from you. I would test out the exclamation mark instead of a full stop. Depends on the industry again. Personalization, so reference to their site or how you can help them. are you free day at time or day at time? And then make sure to add in the time zone as well. If you know their time zone, obviously that's one thing, but you should put in your time zone because I've had a few calls fall through because the time zones were all kind of bundled up and they weren't really the same. Or if they don't know, or if they don't work, you can grab a time here. So insert link in text. So this is so this is basically you sending your calendar link over and you embed it into the here, and then regards name, and then you A/B test if people respond better to a specific time or just proposing a day and letting them choose. I've realized that proposing specific days and specific times work. It just works better. And I think a lot of people say this, and trust me, it just works. Info. People wanting more info. So hi name, great hearing back from you. So this is company info, this is the website, pitch deck, etc. If this is interesting to you, are you free? Day 1 or time or day 2 at time? Or if they don't work, you can grab a time here and then link in text. So it's basically providing information they've asked for, you're providing what they asked for. And then you have to go into basically like when like the best times of booking are. If someone gives a positive or asks for more info, you follow up with them forever. Like I've had some crazy bookings where my inbox manager has just like been following up with them, and we have a set process, of course, in-house, where we literally follow up for ages, and we have pattern interrupts with memes and some GIFs and some images and some more details, and it's really really good because you can just keep following up as long as you're not saying the same thing or annoying them. Like it's just really it's good. Negative. So add to block list. You just so if someone's like, oh, I don't want to hear back, like just add to block list. The out of offices, you can add to a subsequence or just leave it. Or smart lead and instantly have an option to restart sequence when they're back now. So you can say something like, hi name, saw you were out of office till date, would now be a better time to get in contact. So this is if you can schedule the follow-up where you get an out of office, you schedule the follow-up, and it will begin at a certain time. Come back to me. Just place them in a calendar and literally just say like, hi name, sounds good. I'll jot you down, follow up around this time. It's pretty simple. Referral. And this is if someone's like, oh, is like, should I contact this another person, which is a follow-up you can do. And this is something I would also kind of recommend. So introduction by refer full name or at target. Hi referee first name, referee full name, suggested I contact you to discuss the email below. Let's set up a time to talk. Which time is better for you, day or day? If you prefer, you can book a time here, insert your cal, regards, name. So that is this was the response handling. So this is basically just A to Z. Like you don't need to overcomplicate this. The most difficult thing is actually getting the responses. So if you have issues basically figuring out if you should be, what's the word? If you have issues figuring out if you should like make this like A/B test this or like consider that, you probably don't have to. Like just get the responses in first and then deal with this afterwards. Right. Whoops. So next is testing and iteration. So A/B testing. So I've given you the general rules to follow, but truthfully, the hardest part of all this is constantly having to iterate until you find a winning script. I have written so many scripts for single clients before, just trying to find a winning angle. And then when you find the winning angle, it just completely tears it out of the water. It's incredible. So you have a follow-up sequence and you have the reply structure, etc. Right? The reason is you actually have zero idea what exact stimuli the market will be receptive to, unless you've done this before. And obviously, some people have done this before and done this a lot. And that's what I'm saying. Some people who do this a lot will just like they'll sign on a new client and they'll be like, I know this works for this market or this exact segment. I know what they like, what their pain points are, and they can just write the email. And it's like, okay. So sure you see patterns after a while, but even I'm surprised every day you seeing what works. Like you must realize that even people that do this often are surprised because the market is always changing, and anybody that tells you otherwise is fooling you. They are fools, okay? The market is always changing. For context, I had a client that did ads for ecom. I wrote 17 different opening scripts. They all flopped, but when I knew what angle wasn't working, but then I knew what angle wasn't working. Once I kept testing the campaigns, started ripping, and I was booking calls for fun. Also, I declined with campaigns. I didn't book a meeting for 2 months, and then one day I changed the script and I had 4 positive responses in one day, and that led to, God, that was a little bit ago now, but basically that turned into 3 phone calls, and basically they got contacted. So they got in touch, and what I'm trying to say is like you need to keep tweaking, because this is just how it works. Like the God's honest truth is this is just how it works. Like I pretty much get paid to just A/B test the whole time, and it's not easy. Like people say it's like oh it's easy, just keep writing scripts. No, it's not. The point is, iteration is where the money is made. So this is what you test in your cold emails: subject line, offer, copy, opener, body, case study, CTA, order of the email. Like you can literally mix all of this around, and like that's an A/B test. So yeah, since there's 101 different things you can test, it can get complicated. So just change 1 or 2 things at a time while leaving everything else the same. I will say on this, on the very first, like when I sign on a client, right? I obviously have my initial campaigns, like the case study campaigns and like AI generated emails, etc. But additionally, with this, I will write like scripts, and they will all be so different, because like I need to figure out what the market likes if I haven't already done it before. So once I figure out, quote, what the market likes, then I can kind of go into it and start iterating and A/B testing that. But you need to go like throw a really, really wide net, and then you want to go narrower and narrower as you figure it out. So this isn't something I can teach you straight up, because you test things based on the metrics, and everybody's will be different. Now you might be asking, how do I know when to change certain parts of the scripts and iterate on them to start booking more calls? So let's go over how you can use metrics to figure that out. So this is the main KPIs, or key performance indicators. I was in the Smart Lead and Instantly module, where I was going through the kind of the differences between the two platforms. One of the things to note is that when you are going through this, and I was showing this to you, you look at the data. Like you really, really look at the data. And I was also going through my thought process on if someone was replying, if let's say I wasn't getting responses, or the positive response rate isn't as high as I was looking for. There's a load of different ways of going about this. So now you've done most of the hard work. You've built the list, you're following best practices, you're sending emails and testing what works. But what exactly are you supposed to be tracking? And how do you know when you found something that works? Well, for this, we have KPIs. So here are the main metrics you need to track. Reply rate. This means my emails are landing in the inbox, and if that's the case, I know that's not a problem. Positive reply rate. This means there's an interest in my offer and people want to know more. Appointment booking rate, or ABR. This is the appointment books divided by the email sent. This is the most important metric. Frankly, like this is the most important metric. Like if you know you send 2,000 emails or 15,000 emails and you book a call, like you know where the numbers are skewed. So here are the minimum KPIs you should aim for. So a reply rate between 2.5 or 2 to 5%, a positive reply rate 500 to 1,000 sent to one positive reply, and an ABR which is 1,250 to 2,500 sent for one meeting booked. So you can use Instantly or Smartly to track everything. I said this to you already. Those are the two main platforms. You don't only really test and iterate once you send sufficient volume. So around 1 to 2,000 emails sent. For context, that's 1 to 2 days or half a day worth of sending. I had a client that sent like 3,000 a day, and it was like, okay, like we just ripped, it's just completely ripped, and you knew what worked. If you track anything else, it's pretty much a vanity metric. I can get a good 90% open rate. Good job. Like, did you actually book meetings though? Like, come on. You get the point. So tracking open rates also hurts deliverability. Like a lot. just don't do it. And it's also false, because the way Google works and Apple, right? When you send an email, they have to, of course, check if you have links or if you have anything inside the email, and they'll open it before sometimes just to check to make sure it's, quote, safe. And when the system does that, it can like trigger the pixel to fire, even though like they haven't actually opened the email because it was a robot. So like it doesn't actually make sense. So just don't track open rates. Huge note: if your ABR is in the KPI, do not change anything. Like literally do not change anything, right? The KPIs for other secondary metrics are simply a guide. If you start trying to improve these, it will have an overall effect on the entire thing and your ABR. I repeat, if you find a right, let me just say this, right. I repeat, if you find a winning process that booked you appointments, do not change a thing, okay? When you are trying to do is establish a proof of concept in the micro, smaller volume of emails, and then simply sending more emails. That's how you scale and book more calls. So don't try to max out the secondary metrics if you have something that is working, because it's very likely it will mess up the entire process. So all of these are just minimum slash guiding metrics. If you have an incredible offer, you'll see better numbers. If you have a bad slash saturated offer, cough cough SEO. I'm sorry guys, okay? SEO, I can develop your website, all this like bullshit. Like, yeah, you'll see worse numbers. Be original. You have to think for yourself and test what works. And at least you can do that by sending more emails. You should not change anything until you send 500 to 1,000 emails at least. Then you can iterate based on the metrics, right? Just send more volume. I will reiterate this so many times. Just send more volume. Right. Bonus scripts. So these are the exact scripts I use to book meetings. The niche is ecom. This was skincare, and the offer was Google and Meta ads. The guarantee was a guarantee slash risk reversal. Was a performance basis, and a case study. Yes. So I whitewashed some of the names, of course, because privacy and all that stuff, fancy stuff. Hopefully everybody treats privacy the same. Let's actually put my head back in frame a little bit more. Look at my beautiful face. Hey, first name. Saw you were a key decision maker in company names marketing. Intro, we've built out a plug-and-play system for skincare brands that is crushed for our clients. It works so well, we sold our company in 4 months, then acquired and sold out our own skincare brand in 2 months. Can I show you how we did it? CTA, regardless, regards name. Next one. Local hospitality. Offers social media and ads. Guarantee slash risk reversal none. Case study yes. Can't use names. Hey, first name. Saw you were based in area, so I figured I'd reach out. My name is Name, and we're a local based agency in place. This is just more intro. We just helped a similar client boost sales by reaching an additional 83,539 people last month. Pretty sure we can do the same for you too. Offer and case study. Would you be free to meet up for a quick coffee on O'Connell Street, or would a quick phone call work better? CTA. Next one is local clinics, Botox, hair transplant, etc. Offer social media and ads. Guarantee slash risk reversal none. Case studies yes. Hey, first name, found you guys online when looking for clinics in company city. You guys seem like a fit, so I figured I'd reach out. We've built out a system for businesses like company name that generates 5 to 15 adequate donor hair clients with realistic expectations each month. Open to learning more over a quick call. And yeah, so these are the bonus scripts that absolutely rip for me anyways. Just on another note, there is a link below, and realistically, it is me pitching you on how I can help you solve your problems. And if this is something you think you're like, oh, maybe I might need this in my business, it's in the description. But that is the end of the video. And if there is anything else that you guys want me to cover in terms of cold email, lead generation, maybe some tactics, leave it a comment below. Additionally, a like and sub would be awesome, as I'm going to keep going through and putting more effort into these videos and putting more AI twists on them as well, since that is kind of where the world is going. So if that's it, I will see you, and goodbye.